EDG because they hadn't necessarily been challenged to that level. And the real question is can GT actually get to that point and go toe-to-toe in this laning phase? I have a feeling maybe on the top side of the map, Gimgoon and Looper is an exciting matchup to watch. However, everywhere else just kind of looks like a mismatch.
It's also about how they use their teleport. So what I would like to see is, yes, Gimgoon needs to get ahead because he is so key to their win condition. He's effectively the hinge on which their power swings. But they need to get him ahead, get a TP advantage, and start abusing and punishing Uzi in that bot side.
Well, we have the bans coming through incredibly quickly here. Thresh, Elise, and Ryze taken away on the side of GT as Rek'Sai, Jhin, and Aurelia banned by RNG. And Vladimir goes all the way through and will be picked up first here for GT. So RNG possibly opting into hard mode. This could be a difficult one. Vladimir, still ridiculous, despite the fact that he took a couple of hits in this patch.
This will definitely help even out Republic's lackluster lane phase against the likes of Xiaohu. That said, Azir is still up and on the board, and typically you never give Xiaohu Azir. He played the champion before it was popular, which that's how long he's been playing Azir.
Well, Lupa's actually going to go straight ahead and lock in the Rumble for himself as well. Of course, a legacy Rumble player from an extraordinarily long time ago, and Karma picked up for Mata his most played support for this split. Very comfortable, and of course, just so much utility to offer his team.
And this pretty much shows kind of the position that Looper is in within RNG's dynamic. The fact that they're willing to priority pick their top laner and allow him to be counted out very early in the draft phase. Because the thing is you can blind pick Azir to a much better extent, but maybe a little bit afraid of the Azir versus Vlad matchup or not wanting to go that direction.
And also just not wanting to hold their cards a little bit closer to their chest potentially here as well, as there's Savoki's Trundle potentially locked in. Of course, can still go to Gimgoon. That can be Wushang sitting on the Hecarim in the jungle there as well. So possibly the solos in jungle already picked up by GT.
And this is something that GT are also very good at. Not only their macro decision, their micro ability in some of their key members, but also their draft is very intelligent. Right now, you have 3 flex picks coming out of GT. All of those could be top laners. Vlad, of course, flexing between the top and mid lane, Hecarim between jungle and top lane, and then Trundle between support and top lane. So talking about hiding hands, GT haven't exposed anything.
Certainly not, as now Xiaohu playing with my heart just a little bit here as MLXG.
There's your Rengar.
Thinking about the Rengar, exactly right. Probably not going to happen right now, as Uzi already hovering the graves for him.
I was happy for you, Atlas. There was that glimmer of hope.
Let's also note the fact that Xiaohu just locked in the Lucian. You want to say that that's going to Uzi. But Xiaohu is the only LPL mid laner, I believe, that has played Lucian in the mid lane.
I'm going to be 100% on the... You know what? It's RNG. I can't even make that statement.
And there was a cheeky grin on Xiaohu's face if you did see the player cam, as pick options now move over to GT, and we'll see whether they lock in a bottom lane or a top laner.
I will say this. Uzi's Lucian record is absolutely absurd. Everyone remembers Starhorn Royal Club's rise into the 2014 finals against Samsung White. The only reason Starhorn Royal Club got there is because Lucian was disabled globally everywhere but China, because China doesn't care. And he rammed that champion through the LPL, took them from pretty much, I think, bottom of the table to squeaking in for Worlds.
He skated around the rift that entire time. Of course, Relentless Pursuit definitely on a very short cooldown, as they are going to flex that Trundle into the support position. Very disengaged, focused bottom lane, making sure that they can try and nullify, if anything, and they're going to put the Gnar on the top side.
6.13, Gnar changes have gone through as well. His Boomerang has a bit more distance on it. Likewise, his Hyper got buffed up, so Gnar in a bit of a healthier position, which means that this Vladimir now slotting into this mid position for Republic.
Yeah, and a lot of beefy members on the side of GT. In fact, that is 4 massive bodies in front of the Ezreal to try and get this one done. Whereas on the other side of the map, you've got a very different story.
I was confused for a second. It's Karma mid. So they flexed the Karma there. Karma is kind of the staple pickup for the LPL. Should have seen this coming. Into the Vladimir, they played a lot, able to shove him in, has the shield, can run him down.
Yeah, and actually, the tether not broken by the pool as well, which is also very important.
Can run him down.
Ah, that's what you meant. Got it.
No, but thank you. I appreciate it.
Just trying to help, just trying to help.
So these compositions, we take a step back. You pretty much have big wombo combo ability from both of them. I'm going to give slight edge to game talents, but it's really going to be dependent about how they work around Gimgoon. Not only because, again, Gimgoon, the hinge on which their success swings, but the fact that he's on Gnar, and it's so important to play around that Gnar rage bar.
It most certainly is. And if they get a decent Gnar into a wall, followed up by Wushang with that massive ultimate, and if they have that all on top of a Hemoplague, that damage is revolting.
The Venn diagram of murder, as we like to call it, whenever Vladimir is in a composition.
Yeah.
Or Victor. But
just
other than that,
circles on top of people.
It's a disengaged janitorial bot lane.
Well, we'll see whether it is going to be able to survive the wrath of Bard Lucian. As the coaches shake hands, let's get into game number 1 of RNG GT. And here we are onto the rift, ladies and gentlemen. First dragon is going to be a Cloud as GT and RNG take to their positions.
Okay, I'm going to sell you on the Cloud Drake.
All right, go.
So I was having a great conversation with Carbon, a professional player in our domestic region in the OPL, and he sold me on this idea that the Cloud Drake is effectively a GP10. Because as you run back to lane, it makes you run back to lane faster to get to the farm faster. And that's actually how Home Guard, or early purchase into Home Guard, was often perceived by professional players.
Hey, that's a really good point.
Bam! Sold it to you.
Yeah, I'm going to be getting... in fact, RNG, move to that Cloud Drake straight away.
I support the Cloud Drake. You stay, you Cloud Drake.
Well, I'm definitely on board. I'll drink that Kool-Aid any day of the week. But, as you can see...
In seriousness, let's talk about these compositions. Yeah. So what's really cool is both these compositions are pretty much just like the essence, the epitome of both of these teams. So RNG, you've got Rumble, you have Karma, you have Lucian Bard. Every single one of those lanes wants to push. Every single one of those lanes will push. Rumble doing more damage to creeps. He's going to naturally push forward. Karma has the ability to push. A lot of people use her on their compositions to actually compensate for that. And when all of the lanes are pushed forward, as I set up this point, though, they're actually going to counter it out by lane swapping. When all of the lanes push forward, it opens up space for MLXG to invade into 1v1 contest, which is what this composition is designed to do and set up RNG for success. In response, game talents with their Wombo combo composition are going to initiate the lane swap and make sure that MLXG is going to be tied up in double jungling and farming side lanes as opposed to isolating Wushang.
Well, you can see it is going to ensue right now as the GT bottom lane get towards the top side of the map. Gromp was taken here by RNG as they're now going to shove things through.
I was so excited.
Taking a lot of damage here from Republic. My God. Lands the Q, though. Evens out the trade that will be then nullified by the Q.
So this is also cool because GT have, we talk about, Hecarim, he has that choice where he can either be a heavy ganker if he has hard CC in his lanes, or he can be that farm-oriented jungler and look for those big ramping damage items like the Trinity, or if he goes the tanky route, the Cinder Hulk into, whatever he wants to build because he's Hecarim.
Because he's Hecarim. Pick an item.
But going this route, obviously looking for more farm-oriented and hiding Wushang a bit from MLXG. So we'll see how RNG respond to this.
We'll also see how Republic responds to the changes to Vladimir as well, because now scaling a little bit better with AP, not exactly getting as much from being tanky in that regard.
It was
whether he builds more, I guess, damage-focused in response.
And that's kind of the real question. I still feel like Vladimir's in a really healthy and good spot. A bit of a love tap, didn't take him out. Obviously, we see a very high priority of him this game.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can see the lane swap going to be answered here as MLXG taking himself a Rift Scuttler at the same time, wants to be able to get as much gold and money as he can.
This should also mean that both teams will have the agreement that immediately we're going to swap back after this and start opening up into the side lanes falling down quite early, especially because it is Cloud Drake, so there's not a big priority on trying to race for that objective. So there is much more to be taken out of taking down the turrets rather than getting that dragon.
Well, turrets are going to fall at exactly the same time here. MLXG is going to find Wusheng there as well, as end of the line doing a lot of damage. Bullies him away from his Raptor camp. Is now Xiaohu getting dove underneath this turret. There's the flash after Republic gets the pull, and Xiaohu gets soloed by Republic's Vladimir.
We talked about how Vladimir was a great champion to compensate for Republic's 1v1 ability, and just abusing that right there. So confident, having the isolated matchup and punishing Xiaohu.
Yeah, we can see Uzi now trying to chase him down. Magical Journey will get Mata there as well, as the Boomerang is going to stop any attempt from RNG to stop things, and that is a big deal now for this mid laner that we were actually saying was going to struggle.
Still early levels, though. You know, walking past the tower, hitting an E, and then just using the W for some sweet cleanup.
Mm-hmm. Very scary. Now has a Spectre's Cowl as well, so we'll just shrug off a lot of this pokey-style damage from the Karma.
But here's the gentleman's agreement that we were talking about. Again, priority on opening up these side lanes. Big question will be what becomes of this wave for RNG, and where the teams will go after the second tower's fall. So RNG actually ahead in tempo of gang talents because their wave has already crashed against the tower.
It's also very big as well. As you can see, Loop is actually able to pick up a little bit of farm for himself as he makes his way here towards the top side.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's the fact that their top laner isn't with them right now, whereas on the other side, Gimgoon has already been matched up with PentaQ and Savoki. So they'll have 3 members pounding on the tower with their wave, where for majority of this wave, RNG only had 2.
Yeah, might just mean that they don't have as much of a minion wave moving forward. As you can see now, finally getting some attention. Now Republic, level 5 to the level 4 of Xiaohu, but hopefully Xiaohu will still be able to survive this one. Looper making sure all of these minions die. He's going to be able to pick up the last hit on the turret and reset the wave.
Yep, so it looks like it's just going to be a bounce from both teams. In fact, GT actually messing up their lane swap quite a bit. These extra seconds are very crucial, especially as now RNG's bot lane is walking down. Ward has been placed, though, so GT could get fairly cheeky here and look for a trap. They decide against it, and instead of looking for the 4v2, they're just going to pull off of the tower and trade 1-for-1 on objectives.
Yeah, they do manage to get it in the next wave as Uzi does make his way down. Gimgoon going to take a fair bit of damage. No culling available here from Uzi as Savoki was backing.
But what this time has bought and what these crucial seconds mean is just a slight advantage for Looper.
Yeah, very true. And MLXG looking for Republic here as well, who doesn't have Flash but has the Ghost available to him. Going to be moving back. Still very scary here for Xiaohu in the mid lane. I wonder what he's actually building towards. That's a Sapphire Crystal Amp Tome. It's like he's building an old Sheen.
We'll keep tabs on him. But Mata, with, again, these initial seconds that RNG have bought with their lane swap being a little bit faster, he's actually moved in and placed down Deep Vision. So we talk about how RNG constantly want to get Mata and MLXG together to contest and invade in jungle. They now have the space and the vision to do that, and they're looking to invade on this red buff.
Yeah, they also have a gold lead, despite the fact that First Blood went over to GT, and they've taken the same amount of dragons.
It's in the CS discrepancy between their top lane and their AD carry, and again, it's just being able to be just that much faster in their tempo on the lane swap that's bought them extra waves. And RNG are actually very good at this, like Team WE, kind of eking out advantages by playing around waves better than other teams.
You can see Wusheng actually trying to answer the red steal as he heads over into the jungle. Looper is going to make his way down, only level 4, so won't have any equalizers to try and get the work done. As MLXG going to get shielded up and moves forward, and that is going to be the Brambleback disengaged from because Looper was away.
Yep, it was a 3v2 to start with, simply because Gimgoon was prioritizing the creep wave, so trying to even back up that CS, has caught back up to Looper. Although a wave is pushing into him, so should be 6 creeps on top.
Yeah, you can see Looper heading towards that arm guard, wants to make sure that he's as defensively minded as possible. Is now PentaQ taking some damage here as Uzi off to the side.
Gimgoon is in a really rough spot right now, and this is what's giving the confidence to Mata and Uzi to be this far forward. So Gimgoon has to be very far extended to compete for that CS. So they assume...
Goodness.
Come on, PentaQ, it's okay. So they assume that MLXG is probably topside, which is why you see Hecarim shadowing underneath. So knowing that the jungler probably topside to assist his top laner, they're all in on this bot lane.
Oh, they're just knocking on this inner turret's front door. I mean, normally you'd think this is overextended, but
this
exactly
is definitely
what you just
overextended.
said. Like, it feels like they can do it safely, as Uzi's still taking pot shots at this bottom lane as well.
The
Dominance is being asserted.
They're literally diving into the tower and just using Bard's W to compensate for it and continually just punching them in the eye.
Yeah. Ward even removed there from Uzi. He's getting cheeky shots whenever he can. This is what he was always known for. I mean, most notably on his Caitlyn was the fact that he could just thread harass between his impeccable CS farming skills. Make sure that his opponent's always low as they shove in another wave.
And this is why RNG continue to be dominant. We talked about it in Champion Select. If you just isolate the lanes, isolate the jungle, every single one of RNG's members will just organically beat you. They're just better than you.
Especially when it's a Bard Lucian lane. I mean, if you're talking about lanes that are just better than you in most cases anyway, based on champions, this would be an example.
Means that GT really need to be more proactive with initiating skirmishes or kind of upgrading their team fighting, because that's where you actually beat RNG. They're a great skirmishing team, and I'm by no means saying that they're not able to fight. But again, if you just leave them isolated, they're just too strong. You have to try to force them to make a mistake, hope that they slip up.
Also force them possibly into these early skirmish scenarios when you've just got a better comp for it potentially, because they do pick a lot towards these lanes. See, Lupa now has the equalizer available to him. Teleport up for Lupa, not for Gimgoon.
And that's the big thing. Equalizer's online, TP discrepancy. Yes, the Cloud Drake was free anyway, but even if GT looked to contest it, you have the Rumble there with the big team fighting ultimate. So just even cleaner as they're now going in top lane.
Well, the equalizer does go down, but Lupa won't have a scrap shield and will fall down. So Dragon traded for the top laner.
And again, that's a great response from GT. This is something that we don't really expect from a team that was made up of Masters 3 and Energy Pacemaker all. We see that the Cloud Dragon has been taken. We know that the jungler's on the bottom side. Let's all in engage, try to trade something here.
Yeah, of course. Lupa probably could have backed away, something like that, as we are going to be noting that the Mountain Drake will be the second dragon of the game. A little bit more of an important one, although I am still definitely sold on the fact that Cloud is good.
Just, it helps you get to the lanes faster.
Yeah, getting to the lanes fast is good news.
It's about the creep gold.
Xiao going to throw down another W, actually winning that trade for the moment, which we can talk about until the cows come home. However, it doesn't matter because Vladimir. Because there's a teleport coming in. Gimgoon doesn't quite have the Narbar completed as Republic's going to come down. The Hemo Plague's on top of only MLXG. It's going to go off. Picks up the kill for Republic, but now RNG trying to fight this one out. Meganar is going to be coming in, and there's a lot of damage here from RNG. The culling comes down. Of course, Uzi here in the nick of time. They won't get any more, and that is double TP expended for GT.
Which means that now the double TP
actually one TP
advantage is in favor of RNG, but we'll see if they catch out Mata here.
Yeah, well, there's the exhaust immediately down. He's still alive, but the Nara's going to punt him into the wall. Nice Tempered Fate keeps him alive for now as Uzi trying to get a better position. Wushang is going to fall. That's the kill going over to the Lucian, who's not done. The rest of GT are going to come round. Uzi flashes over the wall to get himself to safety, but doesn't have any more displacement abilities. He's trying to get damage down, but it's not going to find it. 6-1 in favor of GT.
And that's disaster for RNG. Luckily, the rest of the members get in position on time to save the tower because there was a creep wave there. But giving away free pocket gold like that is not where you want to be. Good defensive vision from GT that actually set that all up initially. So the reason why they were so confident to pull the TP and to look for those skirmishes, again.
Speaking of TP.
Oh, God. Why?
Yeah, Xiaohu looking for it. Republic not going to be able to get out of the way. This one doesn't have any of his summoner spells available as there's the shutdown. MLXG wants another as Gimgoon was slowed, but oh my goodness, caught by the pillar. Savoki so good at that placement, and Xiaohu wants this one. The exhaust is down, gets it with the W, and gets the slowdown onto Savoki, but it's not going to find the kill. End of the line, not getting the follow-up.
So the all-out response aggression play pays off. Pick up 2 kills. Still not the greatest. Not the greatest.
Well, you can see now Uzi looking to try and get in some damage onto PentaQ, but with Wushang here, he's not going to be able to.
Okay, I think I have enough time to go on this point again.
Yep, go.
It's like a deep dive, and nope, they're fighting again.
Yeah, probably watch out. Now Marta.
He's bloodthirsty. Watch out. That guy's an animal.
Fate's not here, but he doesn't get the Grom. Journeys back over to Uzi. So I think now you're probably safer.
It was the defensive vision. They have the pink ward. You know that RNG is going to invade your jungle. You set up shallow pink wards. They catch MLXG invading on the Raptors. They immediately pull the trigger to catch him out. Again, it's this idea, we can't sit in our lanes. We're just going to lose. Quickly, someone team fight. We have a 5v5 or a 3v3 composition.
Well, they certainly did make it work. Kill score still in the lead for them, despite the fact that the follow-up was there from RNG. Lupa still with his teleport. The only one here in this game. As Morellonomicon now completed a very important item for the Karma. In this matchup especially.
Still a lot of respect given to Republic.
Just has to. I mean, it's not even.
He's 3-1-1.
Republic, is it? It's
pretty
just,
massive.
It's Vladimir. 3-1-1 Vladimir at this time. Like a potato could be playing him right now. He's just silly.
Has a Spirit Visage, so Xiaohu not going to be doing a ton of damage to him.
No.
As we've now started farming our side lanes and just trying to slow down the pace of the game, waiting on our TPs.
And what do you think about Uzi going for this sort of more late-game Lucian build that we used to see, of course, every single time in the Essence rebuild?
This build typically itemizes more into crit than the other one, because it's kind of like you're sacrificing stat when you look for the early penetration, and it kind of just makes sense for Uzi in general. As Wushang forced to relentless pursuit. Oh, God!
Yep, there's the Tempered Fate as well, as MLXG going to get sped up. Gimgoon going to come down here. Maybe a little bit of over-aggression. Is MLXG just going to smite him with his Skirmisher Saber and says, no, out you get.
They just want to fight right now. But back to Uzi. Historically, he will prioritize crit because Uzi knows that he's going to get off enough autos in the course of a fight that chances are he's going to hit that big crit or get multiple crits off. It's just Uzi things that he does.
Yep. The man just knows that he's good at League of Legends. And does, of course, thread auto attacks extraordinarily well. So now Lupa looks to pick up this wave as it gets shoved into him. Flame Spitter, as you can see, doing a whole lot of work now, especially at level 9. And Mata, did he manage to steal that? Cheeky devil? Not sure.
Good wave clear from multiple members on RNG right now, so
yeah.
Both teams kind of resigning themselves, just sitting back, farming this out, waiting for the next dragon in 30 seconds. Eyes on Looper, level 9 right now. We're looking to get closer to that second power point in his ultimate.
Yep.
So if RNG can possibly hold out or just quickly farm to this, probably not going to be immediately available as the dragon comes live.
The dangerous thing is it just seems that when GT aren't making plays, they're slowly falling behind. And it must be a really difficult thing to deal with. As MLXG looking for Republic, he's thrown down the Ghost, but there's the magical journey to close distance. Xiaohu can't get the target down for the W. They do manage to get the Summoner spell, but not the Flash.
And RNG are just everywhere right now, constantly catching people cheating through their jungle.
Savoki! He's going to get snared up there. Oh my goodness, has to use the Flash. Collateral damage, not quite enough. He will have to go back though. No pillars available for this defense. As the teleport's now coming in from GT. Lupa possibly caught out of position, flashes out of the way of the potential Gnar. There's now Magical Journey once again gets RNG all the way down to the bottom side.
But the thing is they actually
oh my goodness. The exhaust goes down onto Gimgoon. There's the equalizer. They want this dive as PentaQ has to move out of the way. The Pineapple's doing some work. There's RNG now looking for some damage. Savoki didn't go back to base. And Uzi able to thread some autos in there.
I disagree with that overall map movement from RNG, though. They actually had a pretty big advantage mid lane simply because the TP was used bottom across map, and they also had just made a pick and forced people off the mid-tier tower. They had a creep wave coming in, but instead they chose to collapse to Looper. Like, RNG's mindset right now is just straight, like, Terminator kill mode.
I do like it. As this outer turret now under fire, you can see Mata is going to make his way back in as there's the Tempered Fate. They've locked down Wushang, and all of his friends have gone. There's the Cosmic Binding doing that very interesting interaction when you move out of the way after it's already hit you. However, he is going to be safe. That's a Warrior Enchantment Hecarim as well, might I add.
We're not
interesting things happening everywhere, Froscarin.
Interesting thing right now is that both teams want to kill each other. Yes, I understand that RNG are kind of a Fido team, but we need to start looking at these objectives, especially with the advantages that they get. Yes, they've been eking out CS leads by superior manipulation of waves, but typically they do that to play with pressure points on the map and then take something else in response, or create you to walk through the jungle to clear the wave and then they catch you, so setting traps. Right now it just seems a little bit desperate, you know, maybe reel it in a bit.
Yep. Well, Dragon, once again available. Uzi was backing near the pit. Got himself a Zeal when he went back home. That Cull now has been expended, and he's still ahead, but not by as much. As PentaQ has been able to even things out. MLXG looking for a 1v1. He's a level above the top laner here of Gimgoon, but of course, in a lane swap, it's likely to happen. He
doesn't have vision of where Hecarim is. He's lucky that Hecarim has backed, so this actually would be a 1v1, but MLXG is doing this blind.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, decides not to go in. So now Uzi looking to steal away a red buff.
And again, we said that they needed to stall this Dragon out long enough for Looper to kind of hit his next power point.
Whoa, Uzi taking a lot of poke there as Wushang hit by the Ardent Blaze. Looper now moving over to the side, has a dash cannon in order to get himself a little bit further.
All damage Hecarim for the jungle. That's risky.
Yes.
We're starting up this Dragon. Again, Looper very strong right now around this pit.
Yeah, and all damage members of RNG here as well as Marta looking for the flanking Bard play. They lock down the Dragon. MLXG coming over the top as well. Savoki's going to be the focus. Gimgoon tries to bounce his way out there as the Equalizer's on top of him. He's going to fall down. Xiaohu grabs the kill. And Marta, this guy is aggressive at the moment.
And it was technically a 4v5. Wushang was in the area, but not on the same side of his team. So game talent's just actually getting out-rotated on that Dragon and not approaching from the same side. They could have looked to fight.
They certainly weren't able to. The flanking Bard is not to be expected, I don't think.
I love how both these junglers are Warrior Enchantment. You've got MLXG running around with a BF sword, and you've got Pony over here with a Sheen.
Yeah, what a beast. MLXG going to get jumped on by said Pony. Has to use the ultimate to get out. Collateral damage is not enough. Oh, Tempered Fate. A little bit off there as well. Trying to pick where he's running away. PentaQ's trying to heal him with his old W from about 5 or 6 years ago.
Carry junglers.
Yep.
What are you going to do with them?
Well, you have one that's ranged, which makes a little bit more sense.
So my issue with this type of Hecarim build is that, again, Trinity Force, one of the most expensive items in the game, if not the most expensive. I'd have to go back to my gold sheet.
I think it is, yes.
Up there with Infinity Edge.
It is definitely up there.
And then itemizing not into Cinder Hulk or any tanky stats, but looking for the Warrior Enchantment. Like, you are made out of glass, and you are you're not in any lanes. So that is a very expensive build where you are not getting a lot of gold. So you need to get snowballed to be able to do this on Hecarim, or your team has to wait a very long time before you come online and are actually useful.
But think about the RNG's damage and what range it comes from as well. If you're Hecarim, you're putting yourself into the middle of the enemy team. That is putting yourself on top of a Flame Spitter, the Buckshot out of MLXG, of course, his regular auto attacks, and the end of the line. Xiaohu, very short range damage. Uzi, short range damage. Marta's got a fair bit of damage. This RNG roster, you do not want to get that close to ever. Especially not when you're made of glass.
Well, they've also got, 3 carries. They're an entire damage-oriented team.
Marta just going to join these 2 members of GT. Savoki taking a fair bit of damage there as well. Marta did survive somehow, not entirely sure. As Looper. Yeah, he's looking for it.
Ooh, right in the choke point.
Yeah, has the dash cannon there as well as PentaQ. You can see moving to the side. MLXG gets knocked up, feared as well as Wushang's doing a lot of damage. Takes the magical journey, gets himself out, but the pillar's there. Xiaohu taking a lot of damage here from PentaQ as there's the equalizer. Looper gets right on top of the Ezreal and takes him down. And Uzi's still kiting around this fight. Looper doing some work, but the Vladimir's too huge. Triple kill comes in for Republic, and you can't leave this vampire on his own. Not into the wall. Quadra kill for Republic.
What a disaster for RNG and RNG fans. That team fight was a mess.
Yeah.
Looper was not there on time. The rest of the team, again, this team has no tank line. That's a Kerry Graves who went second item into BF Sword, and that is a Rumble up on the top lane. They just got obliterated by a True Shot Barrage before that fight even began, and then ran in and continued to die. And Vladimir is now massive.
Yeah, now Marta able to get some wards in. Oh my goodness, they're teleporting. They want this fight. As Xiaohu gets his way over, they are going to stop the Baron.
The reason why they want this fight is because game talents have not backed yet, so they haven't spent the gold that they just won off the previous team fight. So that was the only window where RNG were still even.
Well, True Shot Barrage looking to clear out this mid lane. Not going to get any damage onto this turret. This PentaQ, you can see he's already up to his 2-item spike. He's still feeling good.
The fact that RNG are still in a gold lead.
Yeah. Completely ridiculous.
It's pretty much just the CS.
But of course, also, GT didn't get anything off the back of that team fight that they just won.
They
with a
didn't
quadra kill on their Vlad.
Yeah, they didn't translate it into any sort of objective.
I guess they still do have a 7-1 and 2 Vlad.
That was what I was just going to say. Their Vladimir is huge. That is a very scary team fight to look out at. And again, the only reason why RNG still have the gold lead is because if you take a look at Uzi CS, which is to be expected.
Yeah. 50 in the lead now as well, building towards a Hex Drinker before he decides to pick up any sort of extra crit.
He needs to look for that mortal reminder, though.
Yes, he does.
Especially across from a 7-1 and 2 Vladimir.
I think they all need to be looking for that one. Lupa might even need to get a Merlinomicon as Marta wanted to find the Cosmic Binding, but the pool's there for Republic. He now can clear out mini waves very quickly. Still, CS lead for Xiaohu.
Just
now
the
RNG
confidence.
looking for this red buff.
Continuing to invade.
Once again, Pentaki's able to take it away this time with a well-placed Q. Once again, Savoki. Decent positioning on these pillars, but they can't quite find any picks. And once again, RNG are just throwing themselves at GT over and over again.
I just feel like it's a little bit disrespectful. Yes, Vladimir is technically the only member that's ahead for game talents, but this is still really risky fighting around in those choke points. But RNG, I guess, just confident enough in their ability to outplay.
Yeah. MLXG has a Duskblade second item.
Should be noted that in talking about power spikes, that Wu Shang has also joined the ranks. He's completed his Trinity Force from the jungle, so Hekrum's made out of glass, but he will hit very hard.
He's a truck made out of glass.
Exactly, against a team that isn't very tanky.
You can see Lupa just dash cannons his way into this minion wave. His Gimgoon's going to come and pick it up. He, of course, wants to complete his Zonya's Hourglass pretty quickly. Abyssal Scepter already done here for the Rumble. Now MLXG looks like he's on his way towards a Mortal Reminder. And Uzi does have that Hex Trinket done. So as far as dueling his magic damage dealers, it is possible. As Savoki now kiting around. Mata looking for a potential Q. Lands it, but doesn't find a wall.
Dragon is up, though. It will be another Mountain Dragon, so here comes our big 5v5. Should be noted, Gimgoon has just come out of Mega Gnar form, so definitely not in a great position to look to fight right now.
Yep, Pillar comes in, and RNG not to be stopped. Now the turret is going to be the point of focus here for GT.
And
with
this
the
is the
wave pushing
thing.
in.
They have the wave pushing in, but again, because Gnar doesn't have his Mega Gnar available, don't look towards the Dragon because you're not ready to 5v5. You need to restack that Rage. Move in, place down your vision, buy time, push the wave into mid.
As well, you can see Uzi here wants to take a red buff here, so a little bit of time for GT to set up some vision around the area. Scrying Orb goes down just to make sure that they know exactly what's going on.
Back into mid lane to stack up this Rage bar.
Not to mention, just threaten that turret one more time. Gimgoon slowed down by Mata as MLXG. Pretty deep here as well as Lupa moves his way around.
Their window is closing on this team fight as Gimgoon gets closer and closer to Mega Gnar. Here we go.
There's the pillar one more time. Quick Draw gets MLXG out of relative danger. More Qs flying through from all members of RNG. Brilliantly
played, though. Again, Gimgoon has now gone 2 rotations through Mega Gnar, wait for it to time up, then RNG can kind of come out of hiding, come out of the bushwork.
Well, there's the Tempered Fate looking to lock down some members. Savoki and Gimgoon are caught, two very tanky members of this team as Mata takes a lot of damage. Looper off to the side. As you can see, Gimgoon going to explode with the Duskblade as there's the exhaust onto Republic. Dash cannons into MLXG, who takes the magical journey out. Uzi, a lot of damage from Republic, who's so massive on this front line. As Xiaohu has almost picked up the kill onto Wu Shang. Lots of damage, but Republic's just too big. 2 kills already on the jungler in support of RNG, and they're still trying to find more. They just can't do it, though. Still a lot of damage here for RNG and low members on GT, but Republic is a one-man army.
And that was best case scenario for RNG. They actually timed Gimgoon's Mega Gnar beautifully, locking him up with the Tempered Fate, and then immediately coming out of, again, the woodwork to just start smashing on them when he comes at a Mega Gnar form, forcing him to flash forward and mini Gnar. But Vladimir is just too far ahead, and they aren't respecting Republic.
However, once again, RNG actually get a lead from that.
They still have the gold lead because their CS is ridiculously high. That is what it is. But they are not winning these 5v5s, and they hit a beautiful equalizer. There was no Mega Gnar, but they cannot deal with Vladimir.
Oh my goodness. He is their whole team.
Yes, so that is the problem. Yes, that gold lead says that RNG are a lead. Yes, they are playing like they are 10k gold up and they are so aggressive. But that Vladimir, they cannot, there's no answer.
No. Well, is he able to get a culling down onto Wushang, who's taking some legit damage with his very squishy build. MLXG now going to find his way over to this dragon, which is going to die extraordinarily quickly. If RNG have something, they got damage. Zonya's now completed here for Looper as well. They will be able to take down Mountain Drake number 2. Elder Drake is going to be the next one as well, considering how late that Cloud was, and still fighting here as Savoki taking a fair bit of damage.
And this is what RNG are now banking on, is their Baron threat and their tower sieging ability. Again, beating Vladimir in a 5v5 at this point will be tough.
Well, pings onto the Baron pit here as well as RNG sped up. MLXG over the wall there as well as Republic's in the backside. There's the Tempered Fate. Can they buy some time as Republic was caught up in it? Able to throw himself in the mid lane. Looper has already killed Gimgoon, but the Hemo Plague's down, and now it's time for GT to go off. Xiaohu is going to get eliminated. Marta as well gets speared, but is going to survive for the moment. Looper incredibly low as now Savoki forced out. Republic's also very low as Pentakill moves forward, takes the kill onto Marta as now Uzi will need to get some work done. Pulls down Republic, not a lot to heal off. And the Lucian is still up, and MLXG respawned.
Game talents are just too tanky that RNG, despite having pretty much an entire damage-based composition, can't burst through them quick enough.
Well, Uzi over to the side. No one ever wants to have anything to do with this Lucian right now.
He's just very hard to catch. They don't mind going near him. It's just actually like tagging him. But again, another kind of picture-perfect setup and fight initially for RNG that they're unable to translate into victory. That was a Tempered Fate locking up Republic, so Vladimir wasn't involved in the first part of that fight. But again,
yeah,
they didn't have the damage to immediately just delete someone and make that an instantaneous 4v5.
And sort of, if they really want to be winning this game, and they're not losing necessarily at this stage, despite the kill score.
The gold lead,
the gold is even.
Yeah, but they did have a lead based on their CS, and now they do not.
And actually, MLXG went for a Lord Dominic's Regard. So they think that the Morellonomicon is going to be enough against Republic.
I disagree with their itemization. I disagree with their composition. I disagree with how they're playing the game. This is going to be a miracle run from RNG to deal with this Vladimir that they've already given so much gold, as well as Wushang's Hecarim, which now has the Trinity Force completed and is now looking for that tanky itemization. Wushang has now come online. So that's another threat to game talent's composition.
And this inner turret now under fire as Uzi was looking for the red buff. Wushang gets over the top. We'll be able to take that one away as Looper now with the equalizer at the ready. Not going to be able to do anything as this inner turret falls down. There's a Tempered Fate, lands onto Republic. But there's no follow-up here from RNG, so a big cooldown for not a whole lot.
And now having to wait for their big long-range engagement. Now game talents are falling back onto this bear, and they do have complete vision control over it. Save. Oh, there we go. I was going to say Scuttlecrab should be dying.
Yeah, there is no vision available here as the Cosmic Binding flies through. Marta in trouble as Wushang's looking for him. Look at the damage as Marta as well is going to get tagged by the True Shot Barrage. Republic taking a lot of damage. My God, he's dead! Gets taken down by MLXG, and now all of the damage on GT is done. There's another equalizer. Great positioning as Uzi, maybe a little bit too far forward, gets exhausted, takes too much, but they've got another AD carry in MLXG. Savoki now struggling as well. Pentakill is going to have to be a beast here. You can see MLXG off to the side. Massive work done. Gets over the top. Xiaohu can't find him. It's an even trade so far, but can RNG find more? Is going to get snared up. MLXG's got the damage. Quick draws forward. Doesn't get the kill. And now the teleport onto Pentakill, who was backing. And you can see smile on his face. That is not good.
And RNG have a miracle, and his name is Uzi. That Vladimir ran forward, flashed into a full-length calling just right in his face, and then just got blown up by MLXG.
Although in the end, Xiaohu...
That guy survived longer. That's not fair.
He did 6,500 damage.
Lucian died. Look at this. Vladimir just runs face first at Uzi and MLXG, and they just blow him up. If he had sat with his team... That was the miracle that RNG needed. They needed game talents to massively misplay their team fight. They did. And then they won a team fight because they're just better players 1v1 individually. We talked about this in Champions Select. Gimgoon, Savoki, and Wushang are a great spine for game talents and kind of setting up Republic and PentaQ for success. But you're just relying on those guys to knock over the dominoes that are set up, not to flash forward into Uzi.
And once again, Republic possibly out of position here, but the Hemoplague's down onto Uzi, immediately deleted now as Wushang is going to be the answering kill for Xiaohu. Republic now at about half health, but he's still a danger. There's the Zhonya's Hourglass. Now the Equalizer comes down. Savoki going to be burning to death with the Pineapple as MLXG can't find the auto attack. Republic now. Crimson Rush is there. PentaQ's over the side, but he has enough damage. Look at this guy. Xiaohu now the last man there. And it is going to be GT. The Vladimir survived, and they'll get a Baron.
See, it's because he didn't have Flash, so he couldn't put himself in a crappy position. He was able to carry the rest of the team fight. No, that's exactly how that's supposed to go, and this is what's to be expected. They win the team fight, they immediately go into a Baron. Again, RNG, maybe a little bit overzealous. You know, we won the last team fight. We can continue to fight them. This comp, this Wombo combo potential, how far ahead they are in terms of just the power of their champions, their itemization is very scary, especially to fight in a tiny corridor like that.
Oh,
RNG
yeah.
are giving game talents zero respect, and they're getting burned by it.
Well, this Baron is going to fall down. RNG are at least going to get a Scrying Orb over towards the area. And Baron falls down. PentaQ doesn't get it. Savoki is extraordinarily low. However, now we'll see exactly what GT can get done. Still only 1,000 gold in the lead.
Should be noted that this is going to be Elder Drake that's live.
Yeah,
RNG,
true.
keen to fight. I wouldn't imagine that they're going to give this one up for free, so can they set up a trap? Can they pick off Republic? Will this Vladimir fall, or will he get the Hemoplague across multiple members? Small dragon fight area. Rumble does beautifully in this. Will Looper hit that game-changing equalizer? And can Uzi step up and be that miracle playmaker that we know he has the potential to be? Or will they just run it up mid lane?
Well, you can see the backs are now coming in from RNG. GT, not going to have their bluff called or anything like this. So you can see the bottom lane do move out. It is the last Whisper now completed for Uzi. We'll see whether he gets that Mortal Reminder. Now Republic, lots of poke damage onto Looper.
They don't have the greatest sieging comp. They have a great dive comp.
True.
So Baron buff, definitely very important to push on those towers, but still not willing to pull the trigger on that one as they fall back to Elder Drake, start clearing out this vision. Should be noted, super important that RNG got a hold of that Scuttle Crab, gives them that true vision and kind of alleviates a lot of this pressure of having to face check into that area.
Yeah, irremovable vision, definitely a big deal. So Uzi looking to try and pick up as much farm as he can. Not sure whether he wants that Mortal Reminder next, which will be very, very important, but look, ignored entirely from MLXG. Or whether he wants to be able to get that Mercurial Scimitar for the extra damage. Now GT have started off this Elder Drake.
They're pulling the trigger on it because they saw that Looper was spotted on the top side of the map on a ward. Now, obviously, they're getting here in time, but this is burning down very quickly. They have to immediately pull the trigger.
They have the Tempered Fate. It's not going to find the dragon. Everyone actually moves out of the way here as MLXG wants to find his way into the pit, launches his way down. He is going to be able to pick up the Elder Dragon, but he dies for it. Now RNG looking for the team fight. There's the Equalizer as Looper throws down the Zhonya's Hourglass, but my god, RNG are getting destroyed. 3 members already dead. It's the bottom lane that have to try and pick up the pieces now for RNG. And they may have an Elder Drake buff. They're not going to have their towers for much longer.
But the Elder Drake did its purpose. Yes, it would be nice to have that combat buff, but effectively it lured RNG out of their base against a composition that can't really siege as strongly and gives them the advantage to start pushing in for this inhib.
Well, they are going to be able to take this one down extraordinarily quickly as the inhibit turret falls down. Republic at low health, but he's a Vladimir. Flat out doesn't care. He has that pool available. Now Baroned up minions streaming towards Uzi and Marta's waiting hands. This next tower to fall down. And RNG, despite the fact that the gold's still only about 3k, it's GT with this team fighting late game comp and this massive Vladimir able to stay in control. Magical Journey's coming in. There are teleports available right now as Uzi throws down the culling. Republic pulls. Now there are backs starting to come through for GT. We'll see whether they're actually caught out as another Magical Journey comes in. Xiaohu and Looper are there. There's the Mantrad E. However, RNG unable to find any follow-up kills.
Yeah, burning the teleport but now they have to answer to the super creep waves that will be pushing into their base, which means that GT, they can play this one out pretty methodically. They have what we call the Baron inhibitor taken on the opposite side of the map of Baron. So come that timer again, they can just play the 2 pressure points.
Well, they at least have an Elder Drake for the next little while on Uzi, as now you can see GT finally getting themselves some sort of gold lead that's noticeable. Just above that 4,000 mark, closing in on 6 actually. There is Looper clearing out these super creeps on the bottom side. Probably wishes he had Aleandri's at this stage. Would be helping him out with that % damage. However, they still have a lot of wave clear, so they can still answer a lot of these waves. Buy themselves a little bit of breathing room. They'll need a miracle now, though. Composition
and itemization were really punishing to RNG to this point. That kind of dug them this hole.
Yeah.
They have a 5-man damage comp, so again, game talents can misplay. We've seen that RNG have won team fights, but against the multiple GAs and the 5v5 potential of GT, still very scary.
Yeah, it's a 6-item Vlad. 10, 2, and 12.
Uphill climb.
Oh, yeah. This is very scary, as now the pool has been burnt. RNG may look at this for a potential time to go, but the Zhonya's is, of course, already there.
And
they have to take care of the rest of their base.
Yeah, exactly, is creating multiple pressure points by pushing waves into the base, so trying to tear RNG apart to give his team enough time to chip away at the tower.
Yeah, Uzi actually wanting this kill as the culling comes in. Wushang trying to hold on to his GA, does so. Does have to back out of the way, so some respite now once again for RNG, who have held off. There's the flash forward from Mata. Actually, yeah, what?
It's because you know that Hecarim's not there, so it is going to be a 4v5. Uzi had, or was able to swing and join them, so that was, again, that really small window of opportunity where RNG are like, we have to fight now, because this is the one time, the one circumstance that we're actually going to be stronger.
You can see GT now moving back towards this top lane as the inhibitor turret, of course, no longer here on the bottom side of the map, and Uzi dealing with these super creeps. Republic gets snared up as MLXG looking for a flanking play. There's no vision here. He is invisible. There's the Tempered Fate. Doesn't find anyone. MLXG backs away immediately. They want to try and defend this inhibitor if they can. Republic's taken a fair bit of damage as Xiaohu uses his Zhonya's flashes, but there's the Gnar. They lock down the Karma as MLXG looks for the Vladimir, but they're not going to be able to find him. Now Looper as well. He gets taken down low. Uzi kiting things around. Hemoplague on top as MLXG down to the GA now. And the culling not going to do enough here for RNG. They're now relegated to their fountain. 3 dead. 2 dead. And GT are pushing forward. PentaQ, they did manage to take him down. But now RNG have to try and defend these turrets.
Game talents have effectively suffocated RNG out of this game as they now look to push on.
Yeah, Uzi does use his Mercurial Scimitar, gets himself back up, but oh my god, the Vladimir damage. And Uzi now thinks this is a time to go, but it's not. It's a double kill for Republic. The Vlad is too big. The Zhonya's on the fountain for a little bit of BM and throws out his pull. This Nexus will fall, and GT take game number 1 against RNG.
I have to frankly say that it was very disrespectful how aggressive RNG were playing for majority of that game.
Yeah, I think the draft was disrespectful as well, to be perfectly honest. They didn't pick themselves a tank. They left the Vladimir open. I mean, don't leave Vladimir open. Have we seen him lose? Maybe once.
I definitely would have to check his win rate, but game talents executed beautifully. You gave them a lead. They knew how to execute on it. There was only one real blunder in terms of their 5v5 against Republic, kind of stepping forward, putting himself out of position and melting very quickly, but immediately correcting it after that, saying, okay, you know, maybe I was a bit overzealous. Sit back with your team, look for the Wombo combo, and spread the love around with the Hemoplague.
Yeah, exactly right. And you can see once again, I mean, this was a complete chaos team fight. But this really solidified Republic's control on this game. Gigantic quadra kill.
This is a disastrous team fight from RNG. We have much higher expectations from the team that was the representative of the LPL at MSI. Normally they're very good at skirmishing and good at 5v5, but for Looper to show up late, for the equalizer to be used on one target, for the fact that they ran into that team fight, some members at a quarter health because they took a true shot barrage and they have no tank line, just super aggressive, over-eager, playing like they're 10k gold up.
When they were honestly even. And they probably shouldn't have been, given the fact that the Vladimir was so incredibly huge. RNG still definitely showing that they're phenomenal mechanical players, but you just can't be playing like that at this level of play, because GT are a team that have been able to punish anyone that disrespected them.
To be fair, though, a lot of these team fights were much closer than they should have been because RNG are such phenomenal mechanical players individually. But again, when the Vladimir's that fed, when the Hecarim has that amount of time to scale up. Again, this guy was a warrior Hecarim into a Sheen. He was so worthless in terms of a 5v5 for a big portion of the majority of this game, because if he ever went in, he would just immediately explode, but was allowed enough time to complete the Trinity Force as well as his tank items. That's like a 4-item Hecarim running out of a jungle position.
And he also didn't do anything at the beginning of that game. It was a large reason why RNG were able to stay in it so effectively.
And that was beautifully orchestrated by game talents initiating the lane swap. You know, we know that RNG, they like to isolate the jungle matchup and really exploit MLXG getting advantages and leads there. Let's initiate the lane swap, make sure that he's tied up with the side lanes, and allow time for Wusheng to get his foot forward and start farming up early.
Yeah. So you can see Xiaohu able to catch out PentaQ there with the teleport, but unfortunately, RNG looking a little bit out of sorts. Unfortunately, not necessarily picking themselves into a winning scenario. We'll see whether they do it in game number 2. However, we are going to throw it to a short break. When we get back, see whether RNG are going to change up their minds with the team comps or whether GT are going to be able to finish them off 2-0.